So I got the digital copy of the Intro to Influence ebook right here, and I'm going to be going through 3 very important sections. First is the 5 things that you need to think about to be an influencer. Then I'm going to look at the type of content that I want to create. And finally, from the 15 ways of making income as an influencer, which one do I want to work with and why? So first things first, what is an influencer? When I define influencer, I think of a person who has built their reputation for their knowledge and experience on a particular topic. That person is an individual who uses their power, authority, knowledge, position, or relationship with others to impact that person's opinions and buying decisions. When I think about it, there are 2 types of influencers, or 2 main types that I can think of. Commercial influencer and an entrepreneurial influencer. So a commercial influencer is someone who uses their power to raise sales and awareness for commercial brands and businesses. So they use their influence to promote other brands and businesses, and they get paid to do that. Then there's an entrepreneurial influencer. This is a person who uses their power to raise awareness and sales for their own assets and their own personal business endeavors. Now, when I think about myself, I think that I'm an entrepreneurial influencer with a bit of a commercial edge, because I use my influence to promote my business, Club She Is, and I also do sponsored content and I promote other brands and businesses. So I work on both ways. The world is filled with entrepreneurial influencers that we know nothing about. They are in the finance world, in the construction world, they are speakers, they are authors. Those people are also influencers. It's not just the slay queens that we see on Instagram. There's a big array of people, all different types of ages. There's a woman who does yoga and she's in her 90s. She's a fitness influencer in her 90s, and she promotes her own business and herself as a personal brand. So you can decide that, okay, am I going to be the type of influencer that promotes other brands and businesses and go work with the big brands out there? Or am I going to create my own business and use my influence to influence my business or grow my business? So once you've thought about that, then there are 5 key points that you really need to think about to start defining your brand and knowing what direction that you want to go in. I think that you need to be very deliberate about your work as an influencer, how you're going to earn income, and how you're going to use and grow that influence. So the first thing that you need to think about is, what type of influence do you want? Now, what I mean by this is, do you want to become an industry expert, a thought leader, a celebrity influencer, a content creator, or a micro influencer? Those are the 5 types of influencers that are out there, and you can decide which one speaks to you the most. Then what do you want to influence? So you can decide that I'm going to have influence, that I'm going to influence people's opinions and get them to buy things or know or grow their awareness in something. But what are those areas? You have to choose an industry or a niche. So you can decide, okay, I'm going to be a natural hair influencer, or I'm going to be a mommy influencer. If you really want to stand out, choose one field, excel in that field before you choose to diversify. Now, you become random when one week you're talking about cars and then the next week you're talking about hair. So choose what you want to speak about. It has to be relevant to your life, something that you know about, something that you can grow a reputation over, and then use that to grow your influence. The third thing that you need to think about is, what method will you use to affect your influence? So you need to be able to communicate and connect with people. So how are you actually going to do that? Are you going to be doing it in person? Are you going to be going to events? Are you going to be creating content online? There's so many ways to grow your influence. Like I said, there's people who write books. There are speakers. There are people who do talks and workshops. They are content creators online. So the people that you see, like me and some of the other influencers or YouTubers that you might watch, they're one type of influencer and they use one type of medium, but there are other mediums that you can use and you can turn to. So which one will you use to communicate with people? It can be online, it can be offline, it can be a book, it can be written, it can be video, it can be podcast, whatever it is. You need to decide, how are you going to connect with people and reach people, and how are you going to use that to grow your influence? The fourth thing is the brand behind your influence. So I always talk to people about your personal brand. Who are you? What do you do? And what do you want people to know about you? This is something that you have to define. Define who you are before you go out there so that other people don't define you. You get to decide who you are and what you stand for, and that brings a much stronger character into the influencer world. The fifth and final thing that you have to think about is how you will make money. So this is something that we're going to go into a little later, where we look at 15 ways that influencers can make money. Sponsored posts and working with big brands is only one way of making money as an influencer. There's a whole 15, and we'll get to that in a second. Now I need to decide, okay, I've got my personal brand. I know who I am and I know who I want people to see me as. The next thing to think about is what type of content will I use to affect my influence and to communicate with people. Now, I love online world, and most of the methods that I thought of are online content methods, but there are ways that you can do the same type of content offline. Content is king because it is the way that you communicate with people. So I thought of 5 main content types that you can use to spread your message as an influencer. It's text, video, audio, imagery, and microblogging. So within each of these, there's a whole array of platforms that you can use to communicate with people. For example, just text alone. Text being writing. These articles or books can be offline in the form of physical books that you buy at Exclusive Books, or they can be online. You can have your own blog. You can put your articles on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Medium, on Reddit. You can put your content on so many different platforms just in the text category alone. So you can decide, okay, I think I like to write. So as a writer, I want to write books. Online or offline, am I going to write ebooks or am I going to write physical books? That is a decision that you can make, and you can decide where am I going to put that content. As a video type of person, I like standing in front of the video. I don't like to write. So am I going to put it on YouTube, on Vimeo, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn? Which platform am I going to use to put up my video? Same with audio. Audio are your podcasts. It can be radio. It can be on iTunes, Spotify, on your website. You can have audio files that you upload onto Amazon S3, where it's up on a cloud and it's got only access to a specific special group of people who subscribe to your content. There's imagery. You can decide to do it on social media. It can be private. It can be online or offline galleries or on your website. Then there's also microblogging, which is basically a short form of media content creation that is on social media. So all these 5 different types of content have over 15 different platforms that you can put your content on. And these are the things that you have to think about when you want to become an influencer. I know that I like to write content in the form of ebooks and online courses, and my content that I create goes onto Instagram and onto YouTube. Those are the 2 platforms that I concern myself with. Everything else, I don't allow it to stress me so that I can focus as an influencer. If you are deliberate and focused, that's when you can grow your skill and become an excellent or a standout person within your niche. Then third and final is the revenue type. I know that a lot of people are always asking, how do influencers make money? They just want to make money, honey. So the 15 types of income streams for influencers. You can choose one or you can choose several, but I wouldn't choose them all. So you can mix and match them. So there's sponsored content, free products, brand representation or endorsements, affiliate marketing, consulting, banner ads, public speaking, guest appearances, merchandising, book deals, membership, paid content or subscription tribes. There's premium content, individual business ventures, information products, and even hosting events. And that's not even all the ways that influencers can make money, but these are just some of them. So when I look at myself, I can see that I use about 4 of these. I use sponsored content. I get free products. I get paid with free products sometimes. I use consulting. I do guest speaking, and I have information products and premium content. So those are just some of the ways that I earn income. I have 6 revenue streams as an influencer, some of which are more important to me than others. Another thing that I heard about international influencers in other countries is that they don't just focus on sponsored posts alone. In their whole revenue model, sponsored content only makes 10% of their income. What? Can you imagine? Whereas there are some influencers where 100% of their money comes from sponsored content. So it really depends on you, how you want to make income as an influencer, and what you want to achieve as an influencer. Don't be scared to choose a topic that you're interested about. Start with your passion. Figure out what is it that you love? What message do you want to get across? Then move over to what medium you're going to use. What type of content are you going to use to get that message across? And lastly, how are you going to get paid? Doing these 3 things will really help you to define yourself as an influencer. And it's really helped me define myself as an influencer. And now moving forward, I know what I have to do, and I know what I want from this whole experience. And I can see how I can take this all the way into retirement, how I can build a business out of this. And it's made me very, very happy.